And welcome to another edition of your League of Titans channel. My name is David, aka the D-Train. I'll be your host for the evening. Tonight, a few of our Titans are going to be giving you rundowns and predictions for the 2016 NFC East and West divisions. But before we get into all that, just want to remind everybody listening, your participation is needed. Strongly encouraged for everybody that's in the league. We want you guys to participate. Check with the commissioners for dates and times for future episodes. And we really appreciate everybody who's taking the time to listen to our past and previous episodes. We really do appreciate it. Let's not forget that tonight's episode is brought to you by Cowboys Nation. By the time you hear this, Romo will have thrown another interception.
Asshole.
All right. So without further delay, let's bring on our first Titan coming out of the great state of Texas again. What's up, Mr. Tony? How's it going?
What's up, fellas? I won't waste no time. You guys already know who I am, so I'll pass it on to the other two guys that are new to this live broadcast deal.
Right on, right on. Thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate it. Appreciate everything you do as a commissioner for the league. You and Anthony both, man. No, we really do. Serious business.
Yeah, I know, man. Thank you.
All right, so coming out of Seahawk country, we got Mr. Joe. What's going on, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Joe Smith out of Washington here, big Seahawks fan. Been doing fantasy the last about 4 years, 5 years, about 4 years now. Just started doing Dynasty League this year. First time with these guys and a good group of guys here. Questionable choice of teams, but, you know, it can't all be perfect.
Right on. Well, welcome, Joe. We appreciate you taking the time and hanging out with us tonight. All right, so our third and final Titan for the evening, coming out of Alberta, Mr. Brandon. What's going on, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi. Yeah, like you said, name's Brandon from Alberta, and my teams are the Cardinals, so they're better than the Seahawks, sorry. Been doing fantasy for the past like 5, 6 years, something like that. So first time I've tried a dynasty league here, so excited to get this going and see how it goes. Hopefully I don't get struck by trade fever again and just have to start getting rid of my guys for whatever goddamn reason.
Well, it happens. At any rate, we welcome you, Brandon, and thanks for joining us.
So you just caught a fever of that.
Yeah, he sure did. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing jumped off, guys. Tony, you got us going with the NFC East champs, the Skins. They hit 9-7 last season. Go ahead and take us away.
I thought I was doing Cowboys.
Wait, oh, I'm sorry. Joe has the Skins. You're up, man. My bad, guys. Sorry.
Well, yeah, the Skins I'm seeing them. Their offense, I'm thinking, is all right. They're real deep at wide receiver. I think that Cousins is going to come out and have a better year than last year after having a full year starter under his belt. Record last year, 4-2. They need to do a little better on their away games. They were 3-5 there last year. If they get a couple games there, I think that they could possibly take the division. The defense has some question marks, as we all know. Josh Norman signed over there with them. It's a big question mark if he's going to produce the way he did last year with the Panthers and whatnot, or is he just a better fit with the Panthers system, and their pass rushing defense is going to be kind of telling on how well he performs. He's kind of been getting burned in practice by Deshaun Jackson there in training camp, but it's early in camp. I got them kind of going at 10-6 this year, give or take a game or so. I think it's going to be a tight conference this year. Their halfbacks right now, kind of questionable. Matt Jones being kind of the presumed starter there. Not really sure how much depth they have there, if they need to maybe pick up somebody dropped from another team throughout the offseason or not. Yeah, the defense is kind of getting older there. We'll see how well they can produce. It's kind of a little bit of question mark there. I like forget the guy's name. Got a young rookie or rookie last year. Cornerback did real well. Yeah, about what I got on the Skins right now.
Tony?
I had the Skins down for 7 and 9. I think they take a step back. That'll be our first disagreeing right here, Joe. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of it over the next hour or so. But I have them down for 7 and 9. I'm not a Kirk Cousins believer, and Matt Jones looks like he's a fumbling machine. But they do get a pretty good offensive line. Like you said, they're kind of deep at receiver, but Deshaun Jackson's been usually injury prone. Pierre Garçon's kind of the same thing every year. Not too great. They picked up Josh Doxson in the draft, and he's already having trouble staying healthy in camp. So I don't know. I think they take a step back this year. I think Dallas and New York are better than they are this year for sure.
Brandon.
I agree with Tony there with the 7 and 9.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
I agree with Tony there with the 7 and 9, but it's not going to be. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. He's just a game manager. That's all he is. He's not someone that's going to come out there and win you games. Matt Jones, he had good times and good games and stuff like that, but I don't think they're going to be too great on that front unless he can step up his game. They lost Alfred Morris there, which really I don't think he was that great. He was always injured there too. What's that?
Said he came to a real team.
See, he's still not going to do anything with the Cowboys. He's too slow.
I know. I'm just saying.
He's like a fullback in a running back body.
Yeah.
So.
But the season before last, I seem to remember him putting up serious fantasy points the season before last, and then they bring in. Yeah, but then they turn around and brought in Matt Jones, and then they tried to split them up, split up carries, and then that just totally washed them away, man. I mean, as far as from a fantasy perspective, and I mean that's that's really what we're talking about, right? I mean, I have to agree with you guys. I mean, I've got them down. I've got them down as the same as they did last year. I got them down for 9 and 7. That. Just because of Josh Norman, he's definitely a real threat. I don't think he's going to have a problem, picking up the defense with the Skins. In training, they showed highlights of Garcon and Deshaun, running them down or getting run down or whatever. But I don't think he's going to have that problem. I see him doing 9 and 7. Thanks a lot, guys. Oh, it's on me. So moving forward with the Eagles, who went 7 and 9 last season, their defense allowed 430 points. Of course, they lost Chip Kelly and turned things over to the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, Doug Peterson. They've got a weird quarterback situation going on with Bradford, Chase Daniel, and Carson Wentz. None of them are really anything to write home about, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure Bradford will end up with the starting role, unless one of the others shows them anything kind of promising. But again, that's going to be few, far, and in between. In Kansas City, one thing that Peterson, had no issue with was getting the most out of his RBs. And now that D. Murray is, long gone in Tennessee, it's going to be Ryan Matthews. It's going to be the Ryan Matthews show. Again, Peterson's got a strong track record with the running backs as well as uncertainty at the quarterback position. I expect Matthews to be heavily involved in the offense. I say look for 1,000-yard plus out of Matthews, barring any kind of injuries or whatever. they've got the Browns. This is the only thing for me is they've got the Browns and the Bears and then the Steelers. And then they turn around and they got a week 4 bye. And historically speaking, that, can spell doom for a team in the postseason hunt. If Bradford can't get things going on, Daniels doesn't perform well, I think the people in Philadelphia are going to be clamoring for Wentz, just because he's supposed to be their golden boy or whatever, based on what I've read. But I still think they're going to keep their 7-9 season from last year. I don't really see them going into the postseason. I think they're probably going to end up finishing 3rd or 4th instead of the 1st and 2nd that they had maintained with Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly had them at 27 and 21, with a finish no worse than 2nd in the NFC East. Joe, what do you think, man? Philly.
Oh, well, I think a lot of it's going to depend if Bradford falls back to himself way early and being out for the season in reality. I don't know. I don't like the Eagles much this year. I see them kind of going through a rebuilding process with the coaching controversy, like you pointed out earlier. I got them maybe at 5-11 or 6-10 this year, probably going last in that division, in my opinion.
Wow.
Fantasy perspective, it's going to be Matt kind of sharing the touches in that league. They're kind of big on Sproles. Gave him a little contract extension. Malcolm Jenkins is out with the injury, I think, for the year, and there's defense. He's kind of a big part there. Nelson Aguilar, Jordan Matthews, Zach Ertz. They've all not really been consistent in my eyes. Both all have big games at times, but they just can't do it on a weekly basis.
Tony?
Yeah, I'll roll with Joe on that one. I got them down for 4-12. I think they're going to struggle big time. Their defense sucks. Sam Bradford's basically playing for a job from somewhere else next year. Everything I've read is Wentz isn't going to play this year. They want him to sit and watch. That's why they brought in what's the backup's name?
Daniels. Chase Daniels.
Chase Daniels. There you go. They brought in Chase Daniels, gave him like $5-6 million. So he's gonna come in and take over Bradford when he gets hurt. It's not if, it's when. And there's the running back situation. What'd you say, bud? Oh.
Brandon?
Matthews and Sproles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the running back situation, Ryan Matthews is going to get the bulk of the carries, but he's another injury-prone guy. I think that Wendell Smallwood, the kid they drafted in the 5th or 6th round, might get a shot. Sproles will fill the 3rd down role, as always. And that's about it, man. They're just not good this year. They're rebuilding. Chip Kelly sent that team back about 5 years. That's why you get to look forward for the 49ers. So
yeah, I saw one depth chart for them this year. Now, there's a few of them that are out there, but they've actually got Darren Sproles over Matthews, and then they got Kenjon Barner at the 3rd, and then Wendell Smallwood 4th, and then Cedric O'Neal 5th. What do you think, Brandon?
Again, like what you guys are saying there, the quarterback situation is not very good. It's going to be a battle between Bradford and Daniels for the first little bit there, until Bradford's injured, most likely, and then it'll probably go to Chase Daniels for a week, and then he'll flop, and then they'll have to bring in Wentz, because you have to look at it like better to get him the experience than just let him sit on the sideline and try and pick up somebody else, because Chase Daniels isn't able to do anything, and Bradford's torn his knee out again.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry for the. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then Sproles and Matthews, I think they'll be a great tag team. Matthews will be able to go up the center there like he was doing last year, which was what their system was meant to be. and Sproles will be that little outside sweep guy.
I got you. Hey, sorry about the order, guys. I totally screwed the pooch on that. Yeah, sorry. All right, moving on. We got the Giants who went 6-10 last season. Brandon, take it away, man. My bad.
Oh no. So I think the Giants' defense is actually going to step it up this year. They picked up Vernon. So I think him and JPP are going to be a solid front there. Going to get after the quarterbacks pretty good. They added Bobby Rainey to help out with that horrendous backfield of theirs. Jennings, I drafted him last year, and he screwed me big time. And the days that I would sit him, or the weeks I'd sit him, he would actually put up numbers, and it's like, well, you piece of shit. The other thing is they have Eli. He can be good. He's a game manager who can step up and be that guy who wins games. But if he goes down, they have nobody behind him. Nassib is not going to do anything. They picked up Logan, who was cut from the Cards there. He didn't do anything for them, like especially when they had all their quarterbacks go down and they brought in random people to learn the offense. Of course, Odell Beckham Jr., he's solid all around. He had that one game last year where he had that the issues with Josh Norman and the fighting there, but whatever, he's still a superstar. Victor Cruz can be good if he can stop getting injured and actually get out onto the field. He's starting to turn into a Percy Harvin. That's how I see him. Someone who had those insane numbers and could put up all those types of things, and then he just fails and gets injured there. They lost Randall there. He went to the Eagles, so I think he's not going to be able to. So if Victor Cruz goes down, I don't see them having any depth there anymore.
Yeah, they'll definitely have to utilize the tight end and whatnot pretty heavy. Sorry, go ahead.
And Larry Donald, he can catch the ball sometimes, and then sometimes it'll hit him in the face.
Yeah, he had those couple of really good fantasy games, and then after that, he kind of just went quiet, man. I mean,
good fantasy use when he's on the waiver wire. As soon as you pick his ass up, he sucks.
Hey, Joe, you're next, man. What do you think about the Giants?
I think Brandon kind of got it on the head. I think, he forgot to mention Sterling Shepard this year that everybody's kind of high on. I think he might fill in that slot role kind of nice. I don't think if Victor Cruz gets hurt, that he's going to be so much great on the outside of the wide receivers there. But I think as a rookie, he ought to do well in the slot and hopefully should see some the catches. How well, I don't know. He's a smaller guy, but they tend to thrive there in the middle of that field. As well, they picked up Janoris Jenkins in the cornerback core from the Saints this year. He's kind of a high-valued cornerback free agent this year. We'll see how well he does in another system. They also kind of surprise everybody with their pick Apple in the draft. We'll see he's going to be filling that nickel position in that defense this year. I see him going as I do with the Redskins. It's around 10-6, maybe 11-5. Defense a lot this year with that and Vernon as well in the pass rush, and we'll see how well JPP comes back in with his missing digits on the other hand as well.
Tony?
Yeah, I got the Giants at 10-6. I think they're a lot better than last year. They spent a lot of money in the offseason with the additions, like you said, of Vernon and Jenkins. I'm not so sure Jenkins is a shutdown corner though, but they got DRC over there, Rogers Cromartie. He's a pretty good corner. On offense, obviously, everyone knows about Odell. He's a beast. I mean, he gets more than enough attention over there in New York City. And, I mean, he's good and all. Eli throws the ball all right once in a while, but he's known to throw a lot of picks. The running back situation. What's up? The running back situation.
I say he's a big baby.
Who's that? Eli or Odell?
Joe.
Eli. Yeah, Eli's a punk. He's funny in the damn DirecTV commercials, though. I'll give him that. But,
the only thing I've got to add to that is, you know, I guess Odell thinks he's fucking Sting out there in the WWE match.
yeah.
You know, I really, you know, and you know, don't get me wrong, J-No was no better. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see that shit again this season.
Most definitely. You'll see that shit this year. Them two are going to, you know, they're going to throw down and all that bullshit, but Norman, he's going to get owned, dude.
Think so?
Yeah. He's had one good year. He's been in the league for 4 years. He had one great year last year, and then all of a sudden you're going to pay the dude Darrelle Revis money? Get the fuck out of here with that.
Yeah, well, and that was the biggest thing with the pen. You know, we probably should have talked about last week, but anyway, yeah, it was a bunch ado about nothing. I mean, he tried to put it all off on his agent, this, that, and the other. Yeah, it was messed up. Anyway, sorry guys. Moving on. Thank you, Brandon, for that rundown. I really appreciate it, man. So now we come up to the Dallas Cowboys with their gnarly, excellent 4-12 2015 record last season. Tony, take us away.
Well, obviously last year was a bunch of horse shit.
Collusion. Collusion.
Bunch of cow shit.
Yeah. I'll put on my GM hat here. Last year was all garbage. Dez went down week 1, missed half the season. Then Romo only played 4 games last year. So, you know, all the numbers I wrote down here, they're 22nd in offense, 17th in defense, 27th passing the ball, 9th running it. Now, a lot of those numbers don't mean shit since half of the offense was hurt. And then half of the defense likes to get suspended. So, I mean, the 27th in passing is obviously going to come up. 9th in rushing, as you guys know, they drafted my boy from O State. And, so I got him down at 10-6. I got him the same record as the Giants. I think they'll take the tiebreaker and win the division. But I think both Cowboys and Giants will both make the playoffs. But I think the biggest problem with the Cowboys is that defensive line. It's a complete disaster. Then linebackers keep getting hurt. They got McLean suspended. I don't even think he'll make the final roster. And their corners, I mean, Brandon Carr, Morris Claiborne been bust. But they got Byron Jones that they drafted last year. He's pretty good. And they got Skandrick coming back from injury. So I think they're going to be 10-6. I think Elliott takes a lot of pressure off the defense, and he's going to, they're going to try to, repeat what they did 2 years ago with Murray. And that year they were 12-4, and they're a bullshit call away from the fucking NFC Championship game. So, anything can happen.
Got that right. Who's up? Brandon, what you think? D-Boys, what's going on?
If Romo can stay healthy, I think they go 10-6 there. Same thing. Zeke is going to be an absolute monster, I think, behind that line. As long as he can put up the numbers or similar numbers that he did in college. But for the most part, I think he's going to be an absolute monster. Des Bryant is fantastic as long as he's getting his way. As soon as he stops getting his way, he kind of just walks off the field. So I don't know. He does have that bad attitude. But then you have Terrence Williams, who can be a superstar. He has the talent. But I don't think he's going to do it. But he has the potential to be great. But
I'll disagree with you. Terrence Williams sucks. He had every chance last year. Now,
I agree with Tony there.
Terrence Williams had every chance last year to do something, and he couldn't do it. Although, I mean, he had Matt Castle throwing him the ball, who sucks. They had Brandon Whedon throwing the ball. They had Kellen Moore throwing the ball. So, I mean, he didn't have the greatest quarterback, but it don't matter. The dude, he can't get open unless Dez is on the other side of the field taking up double coverage. So that's just my opinion. Terrence Williams will be a free agent next year, I believe, and he will probably be playing somewhere else.
Good point. Good point. Brandon, Tony, thank you. Joe, D-Boys, let's have it.
Well, I'm going to surprise Tony here probably. I got them at 10-6 as well. As long as Romo stays healthy and doesn't fall. Doesn't fall like a little girl in the first 2 weeks of the season. But, I think they're real good on their running backs. They're pretty deep with McFadden, Moore, Smith. They got down there. He did real well with the Seahawks last year in the offseason. It was sad to get rid of him. But again, Dez is about all they got on their receiving core. There's nobody behind him really. They're Terrence Williams, Cody Beasley, and Lucky Whitehead. Who the hell are those guys? And then they got their backup QB system is kind of up in the air right now as well, with Moore going down. Their defense, most of them are suspended. I think if they can get through those first 4 weeks of the season with even going 2-2, they got a good chance of that 10-6 record even at that.
Thanks, Joe. And Tony, only a couple of things to add. I see him being lucky if they make it to 9-7. I don't see Romo coming out of Week 5. I don't think that line is going to be able to keep him protected and continuously opening up holes for Zeke. And as Joe pointed out, they've only got one, and as you pointed out, they've only got really one decent receiver besides their tight end. And Romo's just not going to be able to.
Old.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. They got Witten, but again, that still requires that O-line to constantly perform. I mean, they've got 2 jobs, and that's going to be protecting Romo and opening up holes for Zeke. And there's no way they're going to be able to do both. I just don't see it happening. I mean, look at what happened last year. I mean, they were barely able to keep his ass protected before he went down. And
it happens.
He barely went down. I mean, yeah.
The year before, Romo played 15 games. The year before that, he played 15 games. Last year, he broke his collarbone, he broke it twice. So everyone wants to say he's so brittle and everything else.
I'm not saying that he's brittle. I'm just saying, I believe the year before last he was playing hurt, and then this last year caught up with him.
Yeah.
And for him to come, to try to come back out here, I'm just saying that's just my opinion. For him to try to come back out here.
It's an age thing, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think they're going to be lucky to get to 9-7, and I kind of agree with Joe. If they can get,
if Romo gets hurt by Week 5, like you said, they're in for another 4-12 season, because the last 2 years without Romo, they're 1-13. So
for
sure. Without him.
Yeah, that's why I say, man, I hope he does.
Well,
I'd like to see him, get some more wins and finish out the season. But I just don't see it. I think they'll be lucky to make 9-7, and that's provided Romo even makes it that far. Sorry, man.
It's all right.
Not really.
I like to see him swirling around on the field and crying like a little girl in the end.
Oh, Joe took it there. Joe took it there.
Joey.
Well, that wraps up.
You know I have to.
Yeah. Nah, I just... everything depends on Romo's health. I mean, everyone likes to rip on him all they want, but the dude, he's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
He's definitely better than fucking Matt Ryan. He's better than Matt Ryan.
God damn, I can throw the ball further with my fucking arms than Matt Ryan can. I mean, Matt Ryan fucking... He's a guy. And you want to talk about a team that has no receivers behind their fucking number one. Atlanta is the fucking spot. So...
Well, that wraps up the NFC.
Yeah, let's move on past that.
Before somebody comes out of hiding.
Yeah, we'll be here all fucking night.
Yeah. That concludes the NFC East. Moving on to the NFC West, we have got the Arizona Cardinal champions of the NFC West, who went 13-3. Mr. Brandon, that's you. Take us away.
I see them going. I hope they go for 16-0, but they'll probably get back down to that. I see them getting closer to that 11 wins there. 11, 12 wins. But for the most part, that's only if, again, Carson Palmer can stay healthy. He is getting up there in age. He has those knee problems. So if he can stay healthy, I think that they do well. And Johnson & Johnson, they will be an excellent tag team running core with Ellington as a backup. Like that's going to be very solid running for them. Then also they picked up Chandler Jones and they have Calais Campbell for their defensive line. That they're going to be solid. They still have no middle linebacker. Who the fuck knows what's going on with Darrell Washington? He's probably beaten somebody else again. And then if Matthew can get back on his feet and stay healthy again, even if he can get us, through the season, and if he got injured again at the very last.
Million.
What's that?
I said he better for $62 million.
Oh fuck yeah. He's getting paid a shit ton of money, but when he's in there, he's a game changer. He's your classic Troy Polamalu type. Plays hard, goes in, balls out. If he gets injured, he gets injured. That's how he plays. But then you do have the people to back him up. You have Patrick Peterson, who's an excellent corner. He stepped up again last year from the year before. Their safeties, they lost one or two of them, but they're still pretty deep there. They all have I have no idea what their names are anymore, but they always step up somehow. Their wide receivers, you can't complain about Fitz, Floyd, and John Brown and Jaron Brown. They're always stepping up. I think J.J. Nelson's going to have a solid year if he can get onto the field. Again, he's their fourth or fifth wide receiver, so who knows if he's actually going to get out there.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Brandon. Yeah, I have to agree with you. Tony, what do you think? Cardinals.
Yeah, you guys know I picked the Cardinals for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I know Brandon's happy to hear that. Shit, last year they were ranked number 1 in offense and they were number 5 in defense. And they just got better on defense with the addition of Chandler Jones. They drafted Kimdichie from Ole Miss, I believe. And, that defense is good. They got the Honey Badger. They just gave him a shit ton of money. And Patrick Peterson's, I think he's the best corner in the league. The defense is awesome.
Nah.
But as everyone says, with any team you talk about, if the quarterback goes down, they suck. So if Palmer gets hurt, they're in deep shit. So they're not. I mean, I wouldn't say they're in deep shit. They'll still be a good team, but they're not a Super Bowl contender anymore. So Palmer, Fitzgerald, Brown, Floyd, David Johnson, Chris Johnson, Ellington, they got a badass offense. They're the team to beat this year, man.
Yeah, I'll reserve my comments for a second. Joe, go ahead. What I know you're dying to rebuke.
No, actually, I agree with a lot of what Brandon and Tony said. I think they're a solid team. I think I got them going 11-5 this year in the division. Got a real deep running back, real deep at wide receiver. Got a real solid defense. Got Chandler Jones for about a song from the Patriots there. She should add to that pass rushing defense. Again, it all hinges on Palmer on how healthy he's going to stay in the end. I disagree with Patrick Peterson being the best. We know we got the best with Sherman up in Seattle now. So other than that,
Let's mute him.
Yeah. Time to cut him. The only thing I've got to add.
I think it's going to be a little more run. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I'm not as high on David Johnson as everybody else is. I think he's going to be solid, but I think Chris Johnson proved last year that he's still got some miles left. I think we're going to see a lot he's expecting as well. I see it more as a running back by committee.
Okay. The only thing I've got to add is that I've actually got them going 12-4, just because of everything that Brandon had to say. I don't think their QB is. I don't think. I don't think he's going to get hurt. I think the line's going to be able to take care of him. And like you said, I think it's going to. It's going to be the Chris Johnson show all over again. I mean, historically speaking, last year, just as a comparison with them and the Panthers, I mean, they ended up with 489 total points. Panthers ended up with 500. Their defense only allowed 313 points. Panthers 308. They went 6-2 at home. Panthers went 8-0. And as Tony said, to me, they definitely are the team to beat. But again, I've got them 12-4.
One more thing though. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
I see their window for getting to the Super Bowl is closing. It's this year or next year, and then everybody's age. I don't think that they're going to be rebuilding after that.
I don't think so. I mean, Palmer and Fitzgerald are the only old guys they got. But I mean, they got Floyd that's coming into his own. They got Brown.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll re-sign Floyd.
Yeah, I think they will. I don't think he's going to be that expensive. Plus, the NFL cap keeps going up every year. I think they'll re-sign him. They got a hell of a coach over there. They draft well. I think Arizona's they're there to stay for a little while. I think so.
Okay. All right. Next up, of course, is my nemesis, the team that I love to fucking hate.
Everyone.
The team that I probably hate more than the Cowboys. Actually, I do hate them more than the Cowboys. These cats went 10-6 last season. The Seattle shit chickens. I'm sorry, Seahawks. Joe, that's you. Take it away, man.
Boy, I like to just sit here and just talk about how great they are this whole broadcast. I got them going about.
I gotta go throw up
this year. But I think that's gonna a lot depend on if they can get that O-line together a lot quicker than they were able to last year. I think made a few mistakes with taking Patrick Lewis out and putting a rookie in there at center, and we just couldn't handle things. Once we got Lewis back, and we started rocking it that season. Defense, I think Earl Thomas and Cam Chain form, they kind of took a dip last year. Cam not holding out this year's big. I think we got a little question mark on that left side on whether Sheed or Jeremy Lane's going to fill it. So we'll see how that works out in the end. We got mean pass rush still. You know, we lost Meebane. He went down to San Diego, but I think Jordan Hill will fill that role well. We got Bennett, Averill, Frank Clark, and Marsh on the other side things as their backups. I think Sherman, he's going to have a good year. Wilson, I think, is going to even take a bigger step forward. Still going to be a running team. I think we're going to be a little more passing, though, than you have seen in the past few years. Question with Rawls in his health, if he can come back, even did when Lynch left her. So, but we drafted 3 running backs in the draft. So, and Christian Michael, I've heard good things out of training camp with him. Hopefully, he can knock off his little prima donna ways and become a team player. So, I think how well our running game does, and how well our O-line does to give us that record. Obviously, Wilson, if he gets hurt, we don't got much behind him either. So that's it for us.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Joe. Tony, what you got, man?
Oh, is he done?
I hope so.
No, I got your shit chickens going 11-5, and I see they're just like Arizona. They got a top 5 offense. They got a top 5 defense last year. Obviously, they're always really good at home, but they're always a sub 500, right around a 500 team on the road. So I don't know. I think they'll start to throw the ball a little more this year. Obviously, nobody knows what's up with Thomas Rawls. He's been milking an ankle injury for like the last 9 months, it seems like. And they drafted a few running backs, like you said. I still don't think the receivers are anything great. Lockett seems like the best one of the bunch to me. Baldwin had an awesome last 6-7 games last year, but I don't see him catching 14 touchdowns
like that again.
Yeah, that was pure slop. And I mean, their defense is always good. They got a good defense, but I think they screwed up a little bit when they got rid of that center and brought in Jimmy Graham. It hurt the offensive line. Also, Wilson paid the price the first half of last year before he caught fire. And their defense is pretty good. Although Richard Sherman likes to talk shit, he is pretty good, but he's not as good as he thinks he is. So I know Dez owned him when Dallas played them. That's all I got to say about that. But I don't know. I see them 11-5, but they're not as good as Arizona. They're not as good as Carolina. So.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Tony. Brandon, what you think, man?
You don't wait to say that, Tony.
I think Wilson is going to do fantastic like he's always done. He's a major threat running the ball, and he is getting better in the pocket. For me, their major letdown is their wide receivers. Yeah. They have Baldwin. If he was on any other team, he's a number 2. Except for if he's on San Fran, then he would still be a number 1. But for the most part, he'd be
a number 2 with Dallas too.
Well, yeah, probably he's better than Terrence Williams.
Well, yeah, but he's a solid number 2. But he shouldn't be a number 1 anywhere.
I think Lockett is number 1 this year.
Yeah, Lockett has the potential to do that, but I don't know if he's going to be a good in the slot guy or if he's going to go down the seam. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
He's one of those guys. He has the quickness to do either of them. I don't really know the running back situation other than Rawls, but he's on the PUP list right now, so who knows how he's going to be. that trade for Jimmy Graham, that was probably one of the dumbest things they did. I'm sorry, Jimmy Graham doesn't fit their system. They're a running team, and their tight ends are blockers. And Jimmy Graham is a frail wide receiver. He's not a tight end. He's never been able to block. He's only ever been able to catch the ball. Yeah. So I think that's going to be, unless they can finally figure out how to use their tight end as a receiver, then I see him as going nowhere.
Yeah, I think they'll line Jimmy Graham out wide more often. He's not a tight end. He was always lined out wide in New Orleans. So he can't block for shit. He can't block for shit. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up moving him eventually.
Moving him where?
No, we did a lot better when Zach Miller was in that system.
Zach Miller, yeah. I mean, plus he's coming off a devastating knee injury. I mean, that's like the worst injury you can have. But they say he's going to be ready for week 1.
We did draft.
What's that, bud?
We did draft a young tight end, Nick Bennett, this year that's supposed to be good at blocking and receiving. Hopefully, if Jimmy Graham doesn't work out like we pretty much all feel, I think, hopefully he'll turn into a good guy.
He's a Buckeye.
Yeah, there you go. There's your Buckeye.
You got like 5 of them.
Talk now, Tony.
All right. Brandon, thanks a lot, man. And Joe, thanks for your rundown. We appreciate it. Moving on. Let's see. We've got the Los Angeles Rams, who went 7-9 last season. Their defense allowed 330 yards. Biggest things to note for them, they moved to L.A. under Coach Jeff Fisher. The biggest thing to look for is going to be Gurley and a Greg Williams defense. Should make them fun to watch this year, given that they beat the Cardinals and the Sea Chickens last year. Had they not lost 5 straight, they may have had a different postseason schedule. But as with the Eagles, they've got plenty of uncertainty at the quarterback position, whether they choose Case Keenum or their number 1 pick, Jared Goff. I don't really think it's going to matter much. The Rams hopefuls, to me, I think they're living in fantasy land if they expect anything other than a 7-9 that they produced last year. That's provided Gurley stays healthy. We just got word today, thanks to Joe, about Trey Mason. When I wrote this up, Coach hadn't even heard from him all fucking year long. His mom, everybody was worried about him. Nobody had talked to him. He had police called up at his house 4 or 5 times this off season. And then we hear, today he's out in his mom's fucking front yard down in Florida, running drills. I mean, what the hell? And then they ask him, is he even going to come to camp? And he's like, no, I'm not coming to camp. Well, yeah. So needless to say,
his career's over.
Yeah, he's pretty much going to be him and Manziel might need to just travel on down south and, stay fucked up together. Again, 7-9 is going to be my prediction unless Goff can step up and bring some life into that offense. Otherwise, it's going to be a long freaking season for those Rams. Brandon, what do you think, man?
Same thing. Their defense is solid.
Mm-hmm.
They did lose corner and their safety, I believe.
Yeah, Jenkins.
Yeah, Jenkins and McLeod.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to hurt them a bit, but front there is just absolutely insane and tear through quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The quarterback situation, I think that's going to – I don't know what they're thinking, because I thought that Foles was going to be their starter this year, and then they cut him because they were saying that they didn't want Goff, or however you say his last name, playing this year. But it looks like he's going to be their starter because Case Keenum, we saw what he could do in Texas, or yeah, the Texans, and he wasn't able to do much. But yeah, and of course Gurley is an absolute machine. And Tavon Austin, he is great out of the backfield as well. He gave the Cardinals headaches all last year. He won them those games, or the games when he was playing against Seattle or Arizona there with that jet sweep or whatever you want to call it. That it was just, he's so fast and he's so little and able to get through holes pretty quickly. So I think that is going to be their number one thing, is running it with Gurley and Austin.
Yeah, they've got Benny Cunningham too, who he's their kick returner, and as you said, Tavon Austin, their punt returner. I only have a couple things to note. Sorry guys, real quick. They picked up a left defensive end out of Tennessee, William Hayes. They picked up an outer linebacker, Mark Barron, out of Tampa Bay, and those are really they got Tremaine Johnson. And as you said, they lost that safety, but they've got T.J. McDonald, and then they've got Cody Davis, and then they've also got Christian Bryant. But they also picked up a couple of rooks in Rowan Gaines and Brian Randolph, but I don't really see them doing anything this year. They did pick up a couple of rookie outer linebackers in Josh Forrest and Corey Littleton, and all four of those names that I just mentioned were all out of the looks like. Yeah, we're all rookies. One was coming out of the 6th round. Thanks a lot, Brandon. Tony, what do you think, man? Rams.
Yeah, I got them pegged at 7-9, just like you do. Nothing's changed over there. They brought in Goff, but I think Keenan. What's his name? Yeah, the quarterback. What's his name?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
He's going to take, yeah. I think he's going to start the year, probably start maybe the first month. And then once they're sitting about 1-3 or something, they'll probably throw Goff in. And I don't know, I think Goff might be pretty good down the road, but they don't have no receivers. Like you said, they have Tavon Austin, but he's more of a Percy Harvin type. He runs out of the backfield, does... he's a home run hitter. But other than that, Kenny Britt sucks. Brian Quick sucks. They don't have no one to throw the ball to. So I think that would be their main objective next year, is trying to find a receiver to pair up with Goff. And obviously we all know about Todd Gurley. I mean, the dude's a monster. He's like basically like Peterson. Peterson's been up there in Minnesota all these years. Never really had a great quarterback except for when they had 41-year-old Favre throwing the ball. And, I mean, Peterson year in, year out, 1,500 yards, 10-plus touchdowns. I think Gurley, he's going to do the same thing. Aaron Donald's a monster at D-tackle. They lost Chris Long. He went to New England. Jenkins went to the Giants. So I think the defense took a little bit of a hit, but they're still pretty good, man. 7-9 is what I got them. What's up, Joe?
I got them a little lower than you guys. I got them going 5-11. I think they got a pretty tough schedule with how weak of an offense they have. Obviously, they took all them draft retrade, and they really beefed up that defense a lot. Donald, to me, he's about one of the most dominant defense tackles in the league. He hasn't done shit since he's been down there. They're coming in with the rookie quarterback. Can be big, consistent, him every 4 games. Like maybe can make rookie mistakes. Gurley, as you all say, he's a beast. And even if they're losing, he's still going to get his touches. Fish has proven that. And how the hell Fisher still has a job. He's 500 since he's been there. No understanding for, he hasn't. I don't think again next year.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Joe. Appreciate it, man. So it looks like last but not least, we have the San Francisco 49ers, who had a whopping 5-11 2015 season. Looks like Tony's got the rundown on this one. What you got, man?
Well, our good old boy Compromise Underpants gave me like 8 pages on this shit, but Dave knows all about that.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna break it down
Thank
that
God.
deep, but as you know, 5-11 is way more wins than they will see this year. I got them pegged for 2-14. Sorry, Anthony. They're terrible. You can any position they have, and they have a hole there. I mean, Navarro Bowman, I guess, is the best player they have at middle linebacker. Other than that, you can't really name shit on that roster. Chip Kelly is. I let Anthony know when he got hired that it's the wrong decision. He should have gone back to the college game. He can't coach in the pros. All that gimmick bullshit doesn't work. And, I mean, he set the Eagles back 5 years. So, I mean, he'll be in San Francisco for 2 years, and then they'll run his ass out of town. And I just don't see it going too well. Good news for them is they'll have the first pick next year, and they'll get Deshaun Watson. That's the only positive thing I can say for you.
Thanks a lot, Tony. Joe, 49ers, what you got?
Well, I got them a little bit better than Tony does. I got them at 4-12 this year. I think that it's a rebuilding year for them, and as the 49ers management and owner Jed York, who's a damn douchebag, has proven he has no patience for any coaches to give him any rebuilding. I mean, the guy, not that I like the guy, but Harbaugh, I mean, took him to a Super Bowl and then 2 NFC conference championships, and then they fire him. Well, that was a smart decision in the end. I hated the guy personally, but he did what needed to be taken for them to back. He got that, and then Kaepernick in his stead was a bad decision, but it is what it is now. Now they're rebuilding. I mean, they got Hyde. He's decent, I guess. I mean, but with Chip Kelly back there, what are they going to do? A running back by committee. They show a lot, so I don't trust him for nothing. Really anymore. He said they got Bowman, and I mean, other than that, they look pitiful. I love to hate the 49ers, but I feel so bad for them nowadays that I can't even talk too much trash about them.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Brandon, sorry.
They didn't fire Harbaugh. They just let his contract run out and let him leave. So.
Well, I agree, but it was the same thing.
Yeah, I mean the GM over there, Balky, whatever his name is, he's the worst GM in the league. Because 1, he traded Harbaugh out. For 2, he drafts terrible. They gave Kaepernick all that money. Then they try to trade him, and they can't even trade him. It's a bad situation. It's only going to get worse. So things aren't going to get better till about 2019.
Owner in the league, and
what did you say?
Go ahead.
No, I didn't hear you.
Worse owner in the league than old Jones there, the Cowboys.
Hey, Jerry Jones runs a $4 billion team in the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs to sit back and collect the cash, though.
Brandon, 49ers, what you think?
49ers, I think they're going to do not so well. Again, 4 wins. They're not. They don't have anybody on offense. Cap, he can play great, but he doesn't. He's not consistent enough to do anything. I think he's going to lose that job to Gabbert this year, and that's disgusting to me. I'm sorry, but when you get cut from the Jaguars and you end up being somebody else's starter, you know you're in a bad situation. Hyde can be good if he doesn't get injured again. Before he went down last year, he was putting up great numbers. I was almost tempted into trading for him the week before he got injured, but I didn't. Again, really, they don't have any wide receivers. They have Torrey Smith, and he's only good at doing 2 different routes, either a straight line or a post. That's all he can run. And then that's about all they have. They have Navarro Bowman, and that's about all they have on defense. Like, they've had so many problems. I think the whole thing is they're trying to get, with hiring Kelly, was to see if he can wheel and deal something to get some more players there. It's not like you could make the team any worse.
I was going to say, well, Kelly is the one that trades players away. He doesn't bring them in; he trades them away.
I know, but he did bring in Murray, and he did bring in Matthews. Maybe if he could do that, but with a wide receiver.
They Murray only because they gave him $50 million. Well, I better watch my language. But they gave him like $50 million, so that's why they brought in Murray. But yeah, I mean, Chip Kelly's he's a joke.
He can't have any power in the team.
Right.
Chip Kelly's a great college coach, but he needs to go back to college.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that thanks a lot, guys. That concludes the NFC East and West. Let's see, before we wrap this thing up, I want to get some Super Bowl predictions. Joe, Super Bowl prediction and final thoughts.
Oh, Super Bowl prediction. You know, it's going to sound cliche, but I'm going to say the Hawks. They're taking it there if they can. Everything remains stable. I think the biggest competition will be the Cardinals.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
No, not really. I think I got most. I got most out that I had going, so I'll pass it off.
Well, Joe, thanks a lot for your commentary this evening, man. It is very appreciated, and thank you for all
thanks for having me, you guys.
All the articles and stuff that you've been posting up, man. It's really appreciated. You're keeping us up to date, and keep on rocking on, man. Seriously. Brandon.
After.
Yes, sir. Super Bowl predictions for the NFC, man. Final thoughts.
I think it's going to be the Cardinals. They're top team in the NFC. Really, if it comes down to anything, it's going to be like a couple of years ago. It's going to be literally the Super Bowl should be put into the NFC. It should be between like either Seattle and Arizona or Carolina and Arizona. It shouldn't have anything to do with the AFC because they have solid teams. They have the Patriots and they have the Steelers who can do good. But I see the biggest competition going to be the NFC. If you're going to take the best teams, it's going to be teams from the NFC.
Yeah, I have to agree. Final thoughts?
Don't really have any, no.
Well, Brandon, thanks a lot for joining us tonight, man. It was great to meet you guys. Great to meet you. Hopefully we get to see a bit more of you posting up on Facebook, and definitely get to see more of you when the season starts. Again, thank you so much for for your commentary and your research. We really do appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, Commish. Super Bowl predictions, final thoughts?
Yeah, like I said last week, I have the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. We haven't really gotten into the AFC thing yet, but we'll dive into that next week or whatever.
All right. Final thoughts, any kind of news or anything you want to share with us?
Sure. Well, I bought the championship belt for our league back on Thursday. Probably going to take a week or so to get it. Thank you, everyone, for putting in on it. I appreciate it. Appreciate the help. And that's really about it, man. Well, we got the draft. Sorry, we got our draft for the MFL. Obviously, that's there in 2 weeks from today. So get ready. Do some
2 weeks from today, guys. 2 weeks from today, MFL draft dynasty kickoff. Again, I want to thank everybody who's taking the time for your research and your insight. I tell you, every time I listen to you guys, I learn something new, and that's what it's all about, right? I mean, gaining education and gaining insight from your peers and having a little fun in the process. I truly appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys letting me join in with you and talk to you about this stuff. So before we get into the big news of the evening, I just want to remind everybody that tonight's episode was brought to you by Cowboys Nation. By the time you hear this, Romo will have thrown another interception.
Asshole.
On behalf of everybody of League of Titans, Brandon, Joe, and one of our commissioners, Mr. Tony, definitely want to thank you guys for joining us. And right now we're going to switch gears and have our official picking of the draft order from our other commissioner, if he's here. I don't see his video link up, but
Where is he at?
there he is. There he is. So I'm gonna sign off, or I'm gonna sit back and let Commish take it. Thanks again, guys.
All right, guys. So we're going to pick the draft order for this MFL league, and we're just going to do the names out of the hat business. I'm sorry if it's cliche, but it's the easiest for me to do right now. And what we're going to do is do it in reverse order. First name picked gets the 112, second gets the 111, and so forth. And I've recruited 2 people to help me out. So I've got my lovely daughter Ava. Just say hello.
Hello.
And
she dabbed on him. She dabbed on him. Yeah.
It's Kid Australia. And I want to introduce my studly son Oscar. Say hello.
Oh, he dabbed on him too. Double dabs, baby. Yeah.
I thought you'd like that, David. All right, so what we're going to do is going to get them to sequentially pick. I'll get Ava to pick first, then Oscar. Now what we'll do, guys, is I'll get you to reach in, pick one card, okay, and read the nickname, not the actual name, okay? And if you happen to pick more than one card, you randomly hold one and drop all the others back in the hat, okay? So I'll point this at the camera so you can reach in, Ava. Grab one. Now remember, if you love me, you'll make sure my card stays in there.
And we don't want to run a stroke incident here. This is all above board.
All right.
It's collusion. It's collusion.
Who got the 112?
The Playboy.
Oh, Paul! I'll write that down. Paul. Put it there. All right, Oscar, your turn. Reach in. Remember, just grab one, please.
Leave my
Adonis. Adonis. Adonis.
Who is it? The nickname?
Adonis.
Yes! Yeah! Yes!
Tino, slow your losers.
My kids don't love me. This is terrible.
All right, so there's no collusion going on now. This is officially passed above board.
You mongrels. All right, Ava, next.
I told you.
God, I can't believe it. Yeah. You got it?
Yeah.
Who is it? Nickname.
Trade bait.
Trade bait. Jonas.
Jonas.
Jonas gets the 110. Okay, let me write that down. All right, Oscar, your turn. Reach in. Who's it?
Texas Blossom.
Oh!
Oh.
Tony Blossom. 109. All right. All right, Ava. Ava, your turn. Come along, ready? This is for the 108.
Yep.
Silverback Gorilla.
Silverback Gorilla.
It's branded, isn't it?
Brandon, yep.
You can thank Colby for that one, Brandon.
I was like, who has that name? I was like, that's not my team name. But then I was like, yeah, that could be me.
Faces of Andre.
Oh, Faces of Andre. That's Joe. Joe gets the 107. All right, Ava, your turn for the 106. My God, this is not good.
Jonas account 2.
Oh, that's Christian. Christian gets the 106. I'm not even sure that Christian's actually a real person. I have a feeling it's Jonas. Jonas has another account. All right, Oscar, 105.
We'll watch the trades.
Guppies are us.
That's Ralph. Ralph gets the 105.
Guppies are us. He's got like 50 of them.
104.
Cam's third test.
Cam's third testicle gets the 104. David.
You guys rock.
So 3 names. We got Tony, Colby, and who am I missing? Oh, Michael. All right, Oscar. Who gets the 103?
Marzilli.
The Mexican.
The Mexican. That's Michael.
Michael.
Nice to tell Michael.
There goes my
But this is
chances of getting
the
Zeke.
dog.
All right. The drain.
102.
The deflator.
The deflator. James.
James.
Jesus.
That leaves one name. Who's?
Colby.
Colby got number 1.
Oh, we don't
Moose
want to tell him
Knuckle.
now. Can we change that?
You should have took this off the.
No redraw. No.
All right, so
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, there's going to be some swearing, so get it off.
Can I stay?
You can stay. All right, so I'll read out the names again, okay, guys?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, at the 101, Colby. 102 is James. 103 is Michael. 104, I've got David. 105 is Ralph. 106 is Christian. 107 is Joe. 108 is Brandon. 109 is Tony. 110 is Jonas. I'm at the 111 spot, and at the 112 is Paul. All right, let me just adjust this. We all set, guys?
We are all set.
Good.
All
Thank
right.
you for doing that.
Yeah.
No problems, guys. I was just sort of wondering whether we might want to drive people to the YouTube video, so maybe just tell them to go catch the channel. Awesome to watch it. So if they want to find out where they are in the draft order.
Heck yeah.
Hold it
All
back
right,
for a week at least.
Yeah, you can plan.
If you guys want to stick around, I'll go ahead and stop the broadcast now.
Oh man, go ahead and stop it. I'll stick around.
Thanks a lot, guys.